Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And it's Coffee Ann on ON Radio 8 in the morning on Tuesday morning. It's June 25th, and thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan at the Coffee Ann table. We'll say good morning to Linda Tebow. Good morning to you, Linda.
Good morning.
And Ed Crew could not be with us today, and we expect Ed to be with us next week, but we wrangled Tom Ward for 2 weeks in a row. How about that?
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you there, Tom.
Good morning, Linda.
Thanks for joining us this
and Ed,
morning.
I hope you're enjoying yourself out there.
I believe he is.
Great week off. 2 weeks off.
2 weeks off. All right. And this portion of Coffee Ann is sponsored by the Carew Investment Group. You know they moved to Tom?
I did.
They moved down to where the old theater used to be, as we say in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
What it's now a liquor store, right?
It works.
Is that what that
It
is?
works. That's right.
It works. That's right. So he's down in that area of Mendon Road in Cumberland.
Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for a quality conservative approach to investing, call us at 765-8880. Integrity, trust, service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Coffee Ann on ON AM and FM, and thanks for joining us. And it's good that Tom is here today because yesterday
It's always good that
it
he's
is
here.
good.
I think I know what he's.
But
I think I know where he's going with this.
It's extra good because yesterday it was very busy at Board of Canvassers.
Or was it?
For declaration
Well,
that day.
the good news is you're catching me off guard because I
Okay,
don't
so you haven't
pay
heard.
close at no. So
well, perfect. This is
bring it on.
This is perfect. So it was
I think
very.
my brother's running for mayor.
It was very busy yesterday. So and so there's still time today, and there's time tomorrow
Right.
for people to make their declarations.
Yeah,
but
the people who are trying to pull fast ones go Wednesday at 3:59.
Exactly. It's a
So,
secret, yeah.
so as of close of business yesterday, June 24th, we have 4 people that have declared to run for mayor.
Wow.
4.
4. And they are, and I'm just going to read them in the order that we got them from the Board of Canvassers, a person by the name of Keith Harrison, who I've not heard of, Christopher Beauchamp, current mayor,
Sure.
John Ward,
Yep.
and Michael Warner, who I also have not heard of either.
I don't
But
know.
they all took out papers,
They did.
and we'll see if they get all returned, and we'll see if anybody else takes out papers for mayor. Now, in the terms of Woonsocket City Council, the 7 members on the council, 9 people have taken out papers, declared. They are, once again, no particular order. Michael Disney constantly takes out
Always.
papers.
Yeah.
Christina Fox, Valerie Gonzalez, who's the
She's
vice
not-
president
yeah.
of the city council right now, Shabazz Raha, Damon Flynn, Ricky Chevalier, Christopher Mellon, who ran in the special election last
against
spring
Dan,
and lost, Michael Dubois, who's known in the
Oh,
city,
Mike.
he's a Rotarian,
Yeah, sure.
and Roger Gillette, who has
Right.
been on the
Before, many
council
times.
before.
Yeah.
So those are the 9 so far. We expect more probably today and tomorrow. 2 people so far for Woonsocket School Committee have taken out declaration papers. Paul Bourget, who's on the council now, and Alan LeClaire, who's also on the committee now as well. So that's what we got so far. Now on the statewide level, for representative in District 49, John Brian.
Yes.
Right now, he's unopposed. Senator in District 20, Brian Thompson. Unopposed so far. Senator in District 24, Melissa Murray. Running unopposed. Representative in District 50, Stephen Casey. Running unopposed.
Wow.
District 51, here's where we have a race. Representative Bob Phillips is running for re-election, and Garrett Manseri have both declared for District 51. That's as of yesterday. So We're waiting for today for the people
To
that
see.
couldn't make it yesterday for whatever reason,
Oh, didn't want to.
or didn't want to,
Waited for the news
didn't,
last night.
didn't want the rush to be caught up in the rush yesterday. And there's a bunch of
Well,
others.
like I said, they want to surprise people.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
want-
always happens. People come in
and there's a bunch of people that went out for Democrat City Committee, Senate District Committee, Representative District Committee as well. But those are the big ones. Now, to address the elephant in the room
Yeah.
is the former
Yeah.
mayor
Yeah.
who sent out the mailer that I have in hand. I don't know if you saw it, Tom.
I saw a picture of it.
Okay, open letter from Lisa Baldelli Hunt to the citizens of Woonsocket, and then on the other side, it's very nicely done. It's very printed up.
Of
Looks
course
great.
it is.
Is
What
all-
did you
is all- I
expect?
know. Is what she has put down is all her qualifications when she was mayor. Now on here, it does not say what she is running for, or if she's going to run at all.
Right.
Now there's
Yeah.
a story. Channel 10 did a story, and Channel
Yes.
12 did a story.
They- that's
I
right.
don't know if you
Right.
did. You
I
see
saw
it all?
I
I
saw
saw
it.
12
yeah.
online. I did not
Okay.
see 10.
No, I saw it. Yeah.
I read it on Channel 10, and according to their site, Lisa is waiting today for medical clearance. So, and then she will then declare on Wednesday. So she's waiting for the doctor's okay today. If she gets the okay, this is all the news story. And then on Wednesday she will declare, and it looks like she will run
Okay.
for state rep.
John Rep. She's going to. I thought she was going after
John-
John Brian.
That's right.
Yeah,
Brian.
John Brian.
State
Yeah,
rep.
that's state rep.
That's right.
Yeah.
She also says in the story on
Yeah.
Channel 10 that she will not run for mayor. Now, I think that means she's not going to run for mayor this time round.
Well,
She may run
I'm,
for mayor
I'm sure
at a
she's
later
talking about
time.
yeah.
So it looks like she may run for state rep. So surprised, Tom? Now that I've rattled this all off to you, I gave it all this
Yeah,
information.
a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I think if I had done what she has allegedly done, which they're pretty sure of, I'd be happy to slink off into the sunset and never be heard from again.
Okay.
But that's not this woman.
No.
And you know, there's, I don't know, she's got nothing else to do, I guess. And I thought I think she's brought a lot of shame and embarrassment to the city of Woonsocket in the last year, and I think she should go away. But that's not her choice, and this is America after all. There are still a lot of people who like her.
Yep.
They're believing.
Sure, this is paid for by the Friends of Lisa Baldelli Hunt, this mailer. So
Right.
there are
Well,
people.
and she still has a campaign account,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
a significant campaign account,
Yeah.
and she's allowed to use that pretty much in, I think, in any way she wants,
Yeah.
and whether for herself or to donate to other people,
Yeah.
and you know, and my typical line is, "I wish her well," but I can't say I do.
No.
Okay. Are you surprised about this
Well,
at all,
you know,
Linda?
I was a little bit surprised. However, I was at lunch the other day, and somebody was talking about a poll that went out,
She
a
did it.
telephone poll,
Yeah,
and
she's
she
doing
did
it,
that. She
yeah.
did that
Yes.
poll, so I assumed she was up to something.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my first thought was she's going to run for mayor again. And I don't know how she could possibly, with the shame that was brought upon Woonsocket, and you know, I thought they were still investigating, quite frankly.
are.
Well, they
Yeah,
are.
and I thought, you know, I kept thinking, Jesus, she's going to do a Martha Stewart, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that happens. You
Well,
know,
I mean, it
and-
does happen because, you know, it happened, and that was federal funds, you know, and anyways, so I was a little bit surprised that she would be conducting a poll to get the feel of the, you know, the feel of
Of the
the
people, huh?
field,
Okay.
you know, of what's going on.
Well, I don't begrudge her that, because I think that's wise to do, because she's
To do the
obviously
poll,
been
right,
harmed,
yeah,
and so she's
yeah.
got the money,
Yeah.
and so why not do a poll,
Yeah.
you know, with Joe Fleming, who she's done many polls with,
Yeah.
and see where she is,
Sure,
see what
sure,
people think,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, maybe she's wasting her time,
Yeah.
but I mean, the whole waiting for doctor's clearance.
Yeah, that's.
Can we be serious for
Yeah,
a minute?
right.
I'm
exactly.
just reading, just telling you what I read.
I
Yeah,
understand.
know, but
I
that's,
understand.
That's crock of baloney.
I understand.
Okay.
But you know.
She had a
I mean-
job. She took a job. She took a job for that realtor. Was
Oh, well,
didn't-
she's always been in real estate.
yeah.
That's,
So I mean,
including her 10
yeah,
years as mayor.
Yeah.
So,
So in the open letter,
Yeah.
in the mailer that went out,
Yeah.
in the open letter from Lisa Waldelli Hunt to the citizens of Woonsocket, this is paragraph number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will read it verbatim. Lately, and you can react to it any way you like. Lately, some distorted information has circulated regarding what was to be a much-needed single-family housing development. I look forward to the conclusion of the inquiry and ask that you keep an open mind. We live in a challenging society. Just as freedom is worth defending, so is reputation.
I
Okay.
have no quarrel with her defending her reputation and
Okay.
trying to come back. That's
Mhm.
that's okay. You know, the housing development on Mendon Road. I know I'm going to preface my remarks by saying legally I know very little about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was Mark Mayhew's house when I was a kid, and I played baseball on that lot that they want to put 34 homes on, or not homes, apartments. And maybe the space is there. It amazes me that the space is there. I suppose they could also bulldoze the house in front of it, what was the Mayhew's house back many, many years ago. But, you know, there are interesting things like the state has just the state is concerned about housing in Rhode Island. And so they're kind of letting down some of the standards they've had to create more housing, and one of them is the amount of parking. And so I think, from what I heard, was that, you know, it's going to be 1 car per unit. Now, it used to
Ooh,
be
that's-
1.5 or 2 cars
That's
per
pretty
unit.
tough.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things where the state changes the rules,
Mm-hmm.
but the question is, does that work? And I honestly don't know. If they're all, for instance, a one bedroom unit where they expect single people to be housed, and they're affordable, there's something to be said for that, because there really is a need. On the other hand, you got, you know, lots of empty units in the 3-deckers in Woonsocket, and it's kind of a shame that people don't seem to want to hike up a couple of sets of stairs and stuff, or whatever they want to do. No one seems to accept those as perfectly good living units, and many of them are, and they're not. By the way, this whole overpriced thing, Rhode Island Housing always puts out these numbers, and it used to bug me because they'd say Woonsocket, this is 10 years ago, Woonsocket average rent is $1,100 a month and stuff. And I'd be like, no, it's not. and so I remember at the time I did like 30 seconds worth of investigation, and I went to apartments.com, extensive, and put in 02895 apartments for rent.
What'd you find?
And I found 51 units. One was over the price of $1,100, and all the rest were under. And Rhode Island Housing does their thing to basically say, the sky is falling, you've got to give us more tax dollars. That's what they do. And then they build buildings that I think now are up to about $500,000 or $600,000 per unit. And I'm like, why don't you just buy them all a house in East Woonsocket? Be cheaper. But they're very expensive, and but it's tax dollars, and they keep doing it. But we've gotten ourselves into this rut now where there isn't enough housing, clearly. And like I said, for people, kids who are starting out, a new firefighter, a new teacher, a new, they want to live in the community. And even I admit, as a fiscal conservative, it's like, yeah, this is a problem. But I've always felt bad in a city like Woonsocket or Central Falls or Pawtucket that they didn't come up with some federal program that might go, not to some slumlord, because I owned a 4-family on Spring Street for 20 years. But if someone had come along to me and said, well, we'll give you $100,000 in grants, $100,000, which is peanuts, to upgrade, but keep your rents at a reasonable level, whatever that is, I would have done it.
Yeah.
But instead, I sold the house because it was a big Victorian, had like 40-some big oversized windows, had people threatening me about lead, which I didn't know the lead situation. Back in the old days,
No,
you
you
could
didn't.
encapsulate. You covered it.
That's right. Yeah.
And I just, I'd like someone came in with a little kid, it's like, don't chew the windowsills, you know? I mean,
Well, we used to teach the kids not to do that.
Yeah,
though.
that's
Remember?
yeah, don't chew the
Don't chew
windowsills.
the windows.
I mean, it's like,
Remember that?
Seems
but,
simple
but
enough.
now suddenly everything's a threat,
Yeah.
where they're forcing you to spend $150,000 on remediation. And so if you simply got reasonable about a lot of things and helped people who might have a 3-decker or a 4-decker, help them upgrade it and say, but in return, the rents are going to stay here. I can guarantee you, if they said, but in return, Mr. Ward, your rents have got to be here, I'd be like, heck, I'd be raising the rents. Because I kept rents reasonable. I had good people in the house. I didn't, especially when I was running the Valley Breeze, I didn't really want to be turning over units and making more money because it was a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
So it was easier. I had nice people in the place. So you kept your rents reasonable. And I've asked friends, it's like, what do you charge? I have a friend who owns about 8 units in Woonsocket, and I said, do you charge? I remember at the time of this 10 years ago, are you charging $1,100 a month for an island housing? He's like,
No.
no way.
Can't get it.
He says, I'm charging $650 or $7
$7.
because they're nice people,
Yeah.
and I want them to stay.
Yeah.
Duh.
There you go.
And so this whole average that they'll talk about, average in Woonsocket is $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
it's
not. Why don't help people with 3-deckers for short money, and get them up to snuff, get them nice and clean, and but they don't do that. So we keep
right.
building.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program, and more coming your way. Any comments or questions of what we discussed so far, give us a call, 766-1240. This portion of Coffee and sponsored by the Carew Investment Group.
Are you retired or retiring soon? That's great. Congratulations. You may be retiring, but your money can't afford to retire. I'm Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road, Suite 3, Cumberland, Rhode Island. At the Carew Investment Group, we offer personal investment management of client money, especially from the proceeds of their 401k distribution after they leave the workforce. So to find out more about our services and for professional management of your investments, call Ed or Paul Carew at 765-8880. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON, AM, and FM.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Tom Ward and Linda Tebow. And Linda, any thoughts on what on Lisa Bodelli Hunt and her possible run for a state rep?
I think it should be very interesting. I think, if she, especially if she's running against John, I think he has a pretty good following, because he is part of North Smithfield as well.
Yes.
I would be campaigning for him.
Okay. You didn't have to say that, but all
Is
right.
that said enough?
Well,
All right.
that's part of the interesting part. Is now I don't know how much of it is in North Smithfield. I don't know, maybe
It's
only a
not a
third,
lot,
yeah,
but it's
small amount,
enough
yeah.
that we,
And because I would think people in North Smithfield, by and large, are not going to embrace her, and that would come through in the poll.
right.
But it must not hurt her that much because
No.
if you're from outside Woonsocket, you're from Woonsocket, you can understand she has her fans, and I get
Of course
that.
she does, yeah.
I get that, and it's significant. But outside Woonsocket, I think they would think, no, I don't think so, because
Right,
John's
exactly,
doing
yeah.
a perfectly fine job as state rep. It's funny that the old days there were stories about them being yin and yang in the assembly, sitting
Yeah,
side by
right.
side, being
Yeah.
best friends, that all evaporated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know, it's time goes on, I guess.
All right.
And I will say this: being a state rep is probably less stressful. I mean, it's not the same as being a mayor. You're to be. I mean, you know this, Linda.
Yeah.
You to be the top dog.
Yeah,
There's a lot of management skills. you need.
24/7
Right.
for that.
Right.
And that's not the case
Yeah.
being in the General Assembly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so it's all speculation right now, and we're just waiting to see what her next move will be if she makes one, either today or tomorrow. So we'll just keep abreast of the situation, and Board of Canvassers will let us know if more people declare,
Yeah.
and then we'll see who returns their
I'm
papers.
sure they will.
Yeah.
I feel. Listen, this is America. Anybody can run. I don't know the two
Yes.
gentlemen running for mayor. I will just say this, and because I used to say this with Michael Disney, I will feel bad if the city of Woonsocket has to spend money on an expensive primary just because of a few candidates that nobody knows and probably will have a difficult time getting elected. And again, I understand their right to run. I totally get it. But if Woonsocket doesn't come up with 14 candidates for the council, and these two gentlemen, you know, get their signatures, you know, it forces a primary that gets expensive. And I, you know, but they have a right to run. I totally get it. I just feel bad for the expense of it.
Yeah. All right. In other news, the Boston Bruins traded their goalie,
They did.
Linus Ullmark.
Did they get?
Which one?
Linus.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they get the one from Florida?
No.
He was pretty good in the third period last night.
Did you see that? Yeah.
No, Linus went to the Ottawa Senators. And in return, we get a forward, who I don't know. We get another goalie, who I don't know. And we get the 25th pick overall in this coming draft. So we get 3 players for 1. So on the outside, on the right on the paper here, you know, it looks pretty good. And you know he was going somewhere. It was pretty obvious to me that, okay, Swayman was the top guy,
Yeah.
and these are the top 2 best in the league at the moment, and
Yeah.
he's going to go somewhere where he's going to play every day,
Yeah.
mostly every day.
Well,
So-
right, yeah.
So, you know, good for him.
I apologize.
So-
I followed hockey the third period of last night's game.
And that's it.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
No, I've been watching this Stanley Cup final a little bit.
Okay.
And it was, you know, once they got to a 7 game, of course, I was all in on Edmonton. I was hoping they were going to win, but they didn't. I learned the other day that Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup in like
long
30-some
time.
years.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
There must be
that-
people jumping off
Yeah.
buildings
Oh
in
my
Canada.
Yeah.
God, they must be. So I
It's
even
the
I felt
national
bad.
game.
But
Yeah.
you know, and the irony of it all, you know, like Dave, my husband was wanting Florida, you know, to win.
did?
But
Okay.
yeah, United States. He's a big,
all
you know,
right.
I've got to win.
See one of
And-
those USA?
Yeah, he is. He's a flat, you know. He's a veteran. What can I tell you? Anyway,
there you go.
he is. But the and I was watching, you know, watching it, and I'm like, geez, Florida, you better get your butts in gear and get going here. I
Yeah.
think you're going to
That-
lose.
that
and then
third
the
period.
Third period, right?
Totally dominated
By
by
Florida.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
But they couldn't,
Oh, they couldn't get
the
it in?
puck
But
in.
they
Oh,
ca-
my
yeah,
gosh.
he
It
was
was
really
two-
awesome.
It was 2-1 Florida,
Yeah.
and it stayed 2-1 Florida.
That's
but
how it
when I
went.
tell you, if they must, I'm sure
So
they measure the
Bobrovsky must have been
minutes
doing
on
so well.
offense, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just they were just
2-1?
hammering away,
Yeah, well-
and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, they were so good. They were faster.
Oh,
They were
everything.
just so
The-
good.
the-
And-
well,
but you
a
know,
sense of urgency
but
for
the irony
Florida.
is that a team from Canada gets beat by a team from Florida.
Florida.
Who knew,
I know.
right?
I know.
Florida.
Fort Lauderdale. It's like, what are you
But they all
kidding
got players from Europe, so
No,
it really
I know
doesn't
they
matter.
do, but you know, it's like Canada. I mean, they wrote the book, right?
It is. They own the book.
They own the book for so long.
So I didn't. I saw a little bit of it last night. It was going kind of late for me. I saw the end of the Red Sox game, which was a great
Did they
ending
win
last
again?
night.
I
They
didn't
won
see
it.
it.
They had a nice walk-off win.
Wow,
with,
see, they're doing fine.
it was in the ninth inning. I forgot. Pinch hitter Valdez
Oh,
got a double,
Valdez. Yeah.
and then the pitcher balked or threw a wild pitch, got on third. Jaron Duran was up and hit a single.
Oh,
So it was just
he really
it was just
came a long way, huh?
Fenway went crazy.
Yeah.
But then I switched over to ESPN. because last night was the NCAA Men's College World Series National Championship game
Yeah.
between Tennessee and Texas A&M,
A&M.
and Tennessee won 6-5.
Wow.
So I saw the last couple of innings for that,
Wow.
and it looked like Texas A&M was going
Wow.
to tie it up. That's got a huge, huge game down there. They always play the College World Series in Omaha,
Yeah.
and it was packed with both fans on both sides. Tennessee, I thought Texas A&M was really going to tie it up, but no, Tennessee held on. That was their first win in college baseball ever. So they did.
That's nice.
So they really, and then I switched back over to hockey.
Yeah.
It's getting late. It's getting later
Yeah,
and later.
getting late, yeah.
And I said there's 7 minutes to go. It was still 2-1.
Yeah.
I said, well, I think Florida's going to hang on. So
Yeah. Yeah,
we'll see what
yeah,
happens.
that's
So
Have you been watching the trials at all? The Olympic trials?
no,
Am I the only one doing that?
yeah,
I was hoping there was
I
that
watched
kid
it-
from Woonsocket who was such a good shot putter, and then I realized how far behind he is.
yeah. I don't think
'cause
this is his Olympics.
Yeah,
It'll
no,
be the
he's
next
still a
one.
very young man.
He's young, yeah.
That's right.
They have to.
But
go into
when I know I've seen him make some throws of 66 or 67 feet. The breeze
Yeah.
has been saying,
Really?
and the winner was like 8 or 9 feet more than that, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, he's
Yeah.
got some
Yeah.
growing up to do.
Yeah.
A little more.
But
Need a little more
God
bulk.
bless him. I mean,
Yeah.
man, I would love to see a kid from Woonsocket in the Olympics.
Oh,
How
wouldn't
cool
that
would
be
that be?
fun?
that would be great.
Awesome.
766-1240. We got a note called in that just to the panel. The Red Sox, as the film says, who are those guys? I don't know. They're all playing great between Duran and David Hamilton. All these guys you haven't heard of, and Connor
Well,
Wong.
I was going to say, who are they? Duran, though, because I remember when
Yeah.
they brought him up from the Poor Sox.
Who
Remember?
sucks?
Remember that? I know, but they used to be the.
I know.
But remember when they brought him up, he was good, but he was kind of cocky.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
remember you said, send him back.
Send him back.
But boy, he really
But he's
developed into
changed.
quite a nice player. Yeah.
And he has
Yeah,
changed
yeah.
his attitude
So that's,
and,
I
and
know
everything else.
him
and
endeavors.
endeavors, yeah.
And, okay, Pavetta,
The pitcher, yeah.
But I'm saying, who are they?
Yeah.
I don't know them.
And a lot of people are saying that, and
have to
people
learn
go,
their
"Well, what's the
names."
big deal?" You look at the standings, and they're 9 or 8 games out of first place. Yeah, okay, but they're 1 game or so, or tied for the wild card. So
yeah,
we're looking at playoffs this year right now,
Yeah.
and we're just about halfway through the season.
Yeah,
It's almost All-Star
and-
break
and,
time. So hey,
have you got a break coming? Because
Go-
I was going to say,
no, go ahead.
on that note, for the first time in my life, I watched Moneyball the other night. Now,
Oh, the movie.
Talk about late. It comes out. I'm going through channels, and Moneyball is on. I'm like, oh, I've never seen this.
Yeah.
And it goes from like something to 12:30, and I was like, yeah, no, we're recording this.
yeah.
And so I recorded it, and then I went back the next night and watched it at a human hour, and took away all the commercials. It was beautiful. But that was such a great story about how, and
The Oakland A's.
I did not know the Oakland A's and how they won 20 in a row, and on this new way of doing things. It was
On the
Brad
metrics, yeah.
Pitt was Billy Bean,
Yep.
and the other guy, the young chubby guy.
Yeah,
he's a
Seth,
smart, he's a
Seth
great,
Rogen.
is that, no, wasn't him.
No.
It's but he's one of those guys. Yeah. Anyway, it was a great story, and that it's kind of the Red Sox now. That they use and Moneyball at the end of it. I guess Billy Bean had met with John Henry, and he didn't want to come.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, thank you. He didn't want to come to Boston. He was loyal to Oakland, and he stayed his whole career in Oakland. But the Moneyball, the way they did things using
The metrics.
information
And
and
analytics. Yeah.
metrics to find ball players and put
Yeah.
a team together. Boston embraced that, and then 2 years later they won the World Series for the first time, and for the first time since Bambino,
In all that
and
time.
and they it was a great story, but John Henry had the guy who played John Henry had some great quotes at the end about, well, you're changing baseball, and these people are all in on the way they used to do things, and they're going to hate you, and that's just the way it is. But he turned it down. But it was sort of the beginning of the Red Sox being smart enough to say, yeah, this is the way to do it, and not only save money, but just be more aware of what with each individual player. Now you remember this because you're deep in. One of the heroes of Moneyball is Scott Hatterberg. He played for the Red Sox.
Sure did.
He did.
Yes,
okay.
he did. He was a
'Cause-
catcher.
so was he? Because he was sort of the ruined player that they took and put him on first base.
Yeah.
So he finished his career with the Red Sox, like not finished his career, but he wrecked his
Possibly.
elbow with the Red
Yes,
Sox.
yeah.
Okay, and so then he became the guy who was a first baseman
Yep.
and didn't want to be a first. He's like, I can't do first base.
That's right.
But they taught him how because he could get on base. And then of course he's the hero at the end with the home run that wins them the 20th game in a row, which is now still
A record.
a record forever, probably forever.
There's a great scene in Moneyball where Brad Pitt is arguing with Philip Seymour Hoffman, who
Yes.
is who's the manager of the team.
Yes.
And no, Jason Giambi is going to play.
Yeah,
No, but he's lousy. Yeah, but he's good against this pitcher.
yeah,
He's got like, I don't know, 10 hits and 12 at bats or something like that. And
yeah.
so they're looking at numbers. And
Numbers.
so
yeah.
it goes,
Yep.
and that's what and it works out. And it works out for them. They don't
Works
win the
out
World
well.
Series though.
No,
See?
they didn't.
See?
They didn't even get through the play. They
That's right.
just
So-
lost the championship to Minnesota,
Yeah.
which is a shame. But and of course they're all depressed about that. But as Jonah Hill is like, but we've changed baseball.
Yeah.
You know, the world has changed because of us.
That's right.
And
And
it
all the
did.
teams do it now.
And it did.
so.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a look at the forecast right now. Forecast is being brought to you by Lowe's.
Sunny skies today with a high of 88 degrees and a breeze from the northwest. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 69. Wednesday's weather, a chance of some showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon, mostly sunny in the early part of the day with a high near 90 degrees and a breeze from the southwest, up to 25 miles per hour. Thursday, showers are likely and a possible thunderstorm before 11 a.m., and then just a chance of showers rest of the day, mostly sunny eventually on Thursday, with a chance of a high of 83 degrees. Friday, sunshine and 80 degrees, a breeze from the north. Saturday, partly sunny skies, high near 81. Sunday, mostly cloudy, high of 86 with a 50% chance of a shower. And on Monday, sunshine and a high of 79.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street with sunny skies, we have 80 degrees. It's time for July 4th doorbusters at Lowe's. Don't miss the hottest deals on appliances, charcoal, and more. Shop the deals before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
If you're a person who avoids the dentist because of fear, remember that at the office of Dr. Jeffrey Dodge, they go the extra mile to make you feel at ease. Dr. Dodge believes in good communication between doctor and patient and enjoys educating as well as treating patients. Dr. Jeffrey Dodge, your family dentist on Park Avenue, Woonsocket at Park Square, 762-3044.
Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was.
I'm Mortimer. Bill. Is that you under that blindfold? Bill, with this thing on, I can't see who I am. No, I imagine not. Can't you see anything at all under that blindfold? On a clear day, I can see the blindfold. You can? Yeah.
When Radio Was, shows from the past for today's imaginations.
When Radio Was airs Monday through Friday right here on ON 1240 Radio at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m.
And it's Coffee In here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Tom Ward and Linda Tebow up in Massachusetts. Closing arguments today in the Karen Reed.
Oh my God.
It's
How long
going
it's
on.
been?
It's
How long it's
8
been?
weeks. Yeah. So the jury is finally going to get the case. We'll see how long it takes for them to come back with a guilty or not guilty
know.
I
verdict.
love
Tom
Howie
Herron.
Carr, and he
Up
has just
in Boston.
beaten the snot out of the state police. And
Oh, is he? Is he all over them?
my
So is
God!
he
yes.
part of it? It's all a conspiracy. She's
no,
been framed,
no, I don't
kind
know
of
if
thing.
he says that. He just calls it as he sees them.
All right.
I subscribe online to the Boston Herald just to read Howie.
Just read
Carr.
Howie.
And he is just slamming these guys just as drunks and ne'er-do-wells. And
Wow.
And the guy in charge, the Irish guy in charge, and I don't know, district attorney. I don't know what they have in Massachusetts, but he's just got these guys pegged as just the most corrupt bunch he's ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, they're framing this girl. She's obviously not guilty. They've got him dead to rights, and the jury should take about 30 seconds to find her not guilty.
Well, it'll take longer than that.
It will. You got to get
Can't go
lunch
30
in.
seconds. That's
I served on one jury, and it was like,
Do we get lunch?
do we get lunch? Because we went in at like 11 o'clock.
I don't think Tom has heard this story, but back in the beginning of May, we did a family trip to Disney World, and there we are. My family, we're in line to for one of the boat rides. Anyway, in Pandora's Land, that one, and of course the line is snaking back and forth and back and forth. And I think I said something to the couple that were in front of us because he was wearing a New Hampshire T-shirt. Oh, hey, we're from New England too. And they're like, oh, where are you from? Oh, we're from Mansfield. And as soon as I said that, are you following the Karen Reed story?
Wow.
And I said, yes, I am. I go, and the people around us must be like, what in the world are they talking about? I said, isn't it fascinating? He said, oh yeah. And he was, the cops are awful. And he goes, I've had my fair share of dealings with police. He goes, not that they're all corrupt.
No, of course
He goes,
not.
but they're all in on it. Most of the Canton police.
Right. That's what Howie Carr's going on.
They're
Canton State Police.
They are circling the wagons.
Yes.
To protect themselves. He goes, I can see it. I can see the writing on the wall.
Carr's
there.
point is, but if you look at the evidence, you don't even have to be that smart. Right. It's just like these people are all awful. They're taking care of themselves. They're happy to send a woman to prison.
Yeah, they don't care.
They're happy. They don't care.
Yeah.
And it's like they're perfectly happy to send an innocent woman to prison. And
they're framing her.
Like, and if that's true, it's like, oh my God, what is wrong with this country? Oh, and he always puts in parentheses how much they make a year.
The
You'd be
cops,
shocked.
yeah.
Oh, there were 150 to 250,000 a year.
Well, it's all that overtime, all their overtime.
All the
they
overtime
get.
and all the state police. And but overtime, it's not like they're out there directing traffic.
Well, the Mass State Police went through that whole scandal
make a
of the overtime that they were putting
that's
in
right.
that they weren't even doing.
Claiming overtime fraud.
Like 8 or so.
Yeah.
So that's what Howie
off the
Carr always
force.
puts in. It's
Yeah.
like, here's how much this one's making. Here's how much this clown's making. Here's how much this clown's making. And they're all, 150, 200, 250. It's amazing. It's amazing how much the state pays for these people. And honest to God, I understand there are unions, but when this is over, if the governor doesn't come out and say, you're fired, make a statement.
You mean from the state police and the Canton police?
And then I know you're going to take us to court, but we're going to pay millions of dollars to keep you people fired, and you lose your pension. This is at what point does a governor say, we need to be brave and we need to not allow this? You do not do this on the Massachusetts State Police. And you just do not, you're not allowed to conduct yourselves. Because when you turn your back on this stuff, they win, and they're going to keep winning, and they're going to keep being bad people. And I don't think they started out as bad people, but you've got a corrupt system that allows this to just go on and on. And the governor is the top dog. And if the governor doesn't say, well, this needs to be, to the director of the state police, this crap can't go on in our state. We need an honest state police. And people, because, well, I won't say it, but people need to be able to count on something. And
I don't see Maura Healey doing that for some reason.
well, they were all Democrats, so I don't know if they're all just protecting each other. I don't know, but it's a shame because when that happens, if the public sees this the way Howie Carr sees it, and not all of them do, but if they do, when this is over. What does that say to the public? What it says is, what chance do I have against these clowns? If these clowns want to take me down, they will.
You're going down.
And I'm paying all this money, and they're not good people, and they're not interested in justice. They're interested in their own little fiefdom.
Yeah.
And so, at what point does I don't think that's the way Walter Stone ran the Rhode Island State Police back in the day. I think you were generally honorable people, and people counted on you, and people thought they were fair. Like when you had something going on in your community that was bad, and you said, I'm going to go to the cop. I'm going to the police chief. And it's like, no, I don't trust him.
Yeah.
You always went to the state police.
Yeah.
And to handle it, right? And you know, you can't lose that. I mean, even I was naive when Hillary Clinton was running against Trump, I guess, the first time, 2016, and James Comey
sounds right.
came out and said what he said about Hillary and the investigation, stuff like that. And my wife was sitting with me. We were both watching it. And she's like, well, what do you think? And I said, it's the FBI. I trust them. I said, if that's where they come down, I trust them.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, it's 8 years later. That's
No.
over.
Yeah.
That is over. I do not trust the FBI.
Isn't
Not
that sad?
Yes, that's my point.
That's,
Is I do not trust. I would say I do not trust the politicians at the top of the FBI, because
Right,
you would
right.
have 1,000 FBI agents sitting there saying, "Tom, you're wrong. We're doing our best," and I would believe them.
They
Yeah.
are.
But
yeah.
it's like, but we can't
It's the
get.
hierarchy,
But there are
yeah.
politicians at the top.
Mhm.
And they're Democrats, they're Republicans, whatever they are. And Comey was not to be trusted. He was a liar, and he's a lying sack, and he's a piece of no good. And this is what we have now, is how do we, and so now we're with this, and again, I'm not a big Trump guy at all, but you look at what the Justice Department is running now, and with Merrick Garland, and it's like, this is horrible. This is horrible. And Merrick Garland was almost on the Supreme Court, and people like to give Mitch McDonnell an earful, but it's like, thank God Merrick Garland is not on the Supreme Court if this is the kind of man he is. So I don't know. I've lost faith in all these people, and it's.
All right. You think it's going to be a quick decision on Karen Reed, Linda?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, because I think the, I think that the defense has done a good job of taking a look. I told you about, I was in Concord. That's where I skate.
Yeah.
And there's a gal there, one of the moms, and she's a lawyer, and her husband's a cop.
Oh, okay.
Her husband's a cop, and all she was talking about was. I said, "What are you thinking?" Because two lawyers. They were
Yeah.
both lawyers, and she's innocent. She's framed, And
Wow.
and I said, "How about your husband?" He believes it too.
Wow.
He believes that she's framed. He's at Cambridge.
You can see it from
Cop
the
in
inside.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting,
Yeah.
that I think the defense has done a good job.
I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, moving on now. Tom, you're the Cumberland guy. Where is Carl's Pond in Cumberland? Do you have any idea?
I do, but I should know.
The department, the DEM is going to be there today, treating the water at this pond. They're trying to control infestation of invasive aquatic plants.
Oh, I know what Carl's Pond is. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Where?
It took me a minute.
'Cause I grew up in town. I don't know where it is.
Well, it's on the way to Bellingham. It's near you get on Pine Swamp Road.
Okay.
And then there's where Cumberland Foundry is, West Wrentham Road.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it this way.
Oh,
If you-
yeah,
if
on
you
the
get
left.
on West Wrentham Road, go straight across Pine Swamp.
Yeah.
And then you go, and there's a fork, and
Yeah.
you go left, and there's a little fishing spot there, and then you go to Bellingham.
Oh, okay.
That little pond, which has been overrun with weeds forever.
Yeah.
So I guess they're trying to do something.
Yeah, the nuisance plants include water chestnut, variable water milfoil, and other pond weeds. And the treatments will not harm any fish or any aquatic species, although they do say if you have any pets, don't let them drink from the pond for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they do something about the swans. They must.
swans,
They're smart people. I know they know what they're doing. But there is a swan
there's too many
couple.
swans?
No, it's a couple, and
Well,
you
they
know
mate for life.
They do.
They do.
And there's a pair there that have been there for years.
All right.
Beautiful white swans, and
Yeah.
there's like two. So I figure they must be the couple, and
Okay.
they must own the pond. And so hopefully
Leave 'em
they'll be
alone.
gentle around those swans.
Okay, well, I hope so.
Or maybe just move them out for a week somewhere. And no, really, I mean, just
Yeah.
get them.
Yeah.
Get them somewhere safe for a week, and then do their thing, and then bring them back, because I'm sure they're not putting Roundup in there, so they'll do something.
Probably not. All right. Well, we had a woman from Rhode Island. She's an administrator at a Worcester nursing home, and she's being charged with stealing $220,000 from that facility. She's been indicted by a grand jury. Charges that include larceny, forgery, tax evasion, and making a false entry in the corporate books. Not good.
She should
That's
join the
all
Massachusetts
true.
State Police. She could make that kind of money and not worry about it.
She was employed at the Donna K. Rest Home on Main Street in Worcester. Oh, I know where Main Street is. City Hall for Worcester is on Main Street. And when I go to the Worcester Red Sox games, that's my place to park. Is a parking garage on that street. I've never seen a rest home though on that street.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure back in
street.
the day it was something.
Yeah.
else.
But the victims include the home and around 40 residents.
Well, of course.
So
It
you
always
still-
affects the residents
Well, sure,
because
you're
that money
right.
should be spent on them.
Yeah. So she's just been indicted. She hasn't been charged with anything. Doesn't say where in Rhode Island she is from. Louisa, Luiza, Wade, Wade. So it's like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, she's in
And
some
stuff.
trouble there.
And all I can think of is she's gonna say, well, as soon as I pay off my gambling debts or something like that. That's what you always read. I was gonna put the money back, but I kept telling Father that whole of I'll win it back at gambling so I can put the money back never seems to work. You
Yeah.
just- No, you just get more and more and more in debt, and you steal more and more to keep fostering your gambling problem. All right, is this a gambling problem? I don't know. I don't know that part yet.
Right.
All right, we're going to take our final break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Hey, Red.
Who? Me?
Your face is beet red and you look like you're going to pass out.
Well, I'm a little dizzy, but working outside in this heat, what are you going to do?
You're in danger of heat exhaustion, my friend. And if you want to finish up this job today and get paid, you need to take a break in the shade and drink some water. Now, got it?
Yeah, but I gotta...
You gotta stay safe and healthy to stay on the job, right?
That's true.
A message from the Rhode Island Department of Health and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I'd love to have you join me every Saturday for the Saturday Block Party. We start at 4 o'clock when I open up the ON Music Vault for you to pick whatever you want to hear or send to somebody special. Yes, the good old radio request days are back. Join me for the Saturday Block Party, Saturdays from 4 until 7 on ON Radio and streaming online at WoonsocketRadio.com.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan with Linda Tebow and Tom Ward. And we just talk about the gambling that goes on in New England. And the ads just keep on running.
Yeah, they do.
Well, if you especially if you watch sports like I do, and it's the FanDuel and the
FanDuel
DraftKings,
and
just
yeah.
Bet $5 and they give you $1 million.
Yeah.
That's not quite it, but and I always wonder, how is this done? How are you staying in business if this works?
But they tell you who to call if you get a gambling
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
That's always underneath.
My problem is I owe $1 million.
Yeah,
That's
but
my
too bad,
problem.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's perfectly
Gamblers
legal and you
Anonymous.
can do it. Okay, but yeah. Spend $5. That's all. Anyway, if you go down to Newport, by the way, want to visit the mansion, the Breakers is now offering public tours of the third floor.
I heard that.
I didn't know you couldn't go to the third floor before. Third floor of the family space for the first time in its history. In addition to touring the third floor, visitors can also see preservation and restoration work that's being done. During the tour, guests can now walk through the private bedroom, bathroom, and recreational spaces used by the Vanderbilt family and household staff for more than a century.
Yeah, I guess they said the family has been using that space up until the last few years, and
I guess they all moved out and stuff. And there was one of the mansions where, you could tour it, and you wore headphones, and that way you went at your own pace.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I said, what a great idea!
That technology has been around for a while, and that is the way to take a tour.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you just you go up and there'll be a little number there.
Yeah.
You push
You
in
press
your
it.
number and you listen.
And you'll
You're
listen.
right. It's at your own pace, and
You don't have to worry about where's the tour guide and what are they saying, and I can't hear them and things like that. So this is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I always like being, it's wonderful walking through the homes, but being on the backyard and to walk down to the cliff walk and just look out over the ocean, I'm like,
so beautiful.
it's like,
so
wow,
beautiful.
imagine living here, and this is what you have. It's
The
like,
Gilded
wow.
Age.
It's pretty
Good
fascinating.
times.
It
Good
is good times is right. All right, other
of course,
things.
that was also before there was a federal tax. You had no income tax. So.
But you know what fascinates me about those mansions? How did they do what they did with the tools that they had? Do you know what I mean?
Hammer and
How-
chisel.
I know, but so they were artisans. They were craft,
Yes,
you know.
and they were great at it.
But I mean, some those, the ceilings and the wood
I
carvings.
want you to make
and
it look
everything.
like this building I saw in Italy. Here's a picture.
Yeah.
I mean,
Make it
even-
right.
Even the Vatican as well.
Well,
Wow,
they
yeah.
exactly,
500 years old or
yeah,
something.
or
So
Notre
fine.
Dame. How did they? It's just amazing.
It is amazing that
How did
they
they
could do it.
move- how did
Big
they
pieces
move
of granite.
Granite. How
Yeah.
did they do that?
How do
you
we
know?
how do we get it on the boat and not have the boat sink
Yeah.
to get it over here? I don't know.
It's
So Tom, I don't know. Did you see this over the weekend? I happened to see it
Go ahead.
at the golf tournament in Connecticut.
I did not. Oh no, I watched only a part of it. I did not see the 18th.
You didn't see the
hole.
18th. Did you
No.
see what happened?
No.
Climate protesters charged the 18th hole. This happened in Cromwell, Connecticut,
Really?
at the Travelers Championship, where two guys were bad. It was down to one shot.
Yep.
And the guy was getting ready to putt. He would have won. And now here come six people charging the green, and they had white canisters that were emitting red and white smoke.
No.
And they dropped it on the green, and so okay, everything stops, and they got tackled. The police were right there, and let them out. But they're like, "What is going on?" And it was live on CBS or wherever had the golf on that time. It's like, well, they said,
had
"Uh-oh,
a-
looks like we got protesters." And
Wow.
It's
Because
like,
they
yeah.
had a rain delay too. The weather.
yes,
They did.
they
Big
did.
time,
And so when
yeah.
they cleared them all off,
Yeah.
the guy that would have won if he sunk it, he missed the shot.
Oh, that's a shame.
So he did win because they had to go to a playoff,
okay.
and he did win the championship eventually. But it was
See?
crazy because
Why do they think
things
that?
you don't think bad things are going to happen at.
Yeah.
Golf tournaments.
golf
I don't
tournament.
think bad things are going to happen at tennis.
No,
champion.
no.
You never think of Wimbledon's going to bad things that happen, but
Yeah.
bad things have happened
Yeah.
at Wimbledon. Steffi Graf, no, Monica Seles, that got stabbed.
That's right.
Remember the guy hopped out of the
That's
stands and
right.
stabbed her in the
Yes,
back?
yes,
It ended her career.
Yeah.
She never
yes, I
played
remember
again.
That. I remember that. But why do they think it's okay? I know that's
Well,
the-
this
Well,
the
they
group-
don't.
freedom of expression.
No,
right?
but yeah, please.
That's, you
No,
know.
they think this is where they're going to get attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
18th
and
hole,
guess what? They did, didn't
They
they?
did.
Well, this group is a worldwide climate change organization that took responsibility for it. These people have,
And it worked because everybody starting
worked.
on Monday started to say we're
Yeah.
going to be careful about our gasoline use and oil use. We're all going to
Yeah.
look at those people on the green
Oh,
spraying powder and
Yeah,
saying,
right, yeah.
you know what, we need to
They're
change our
right.
ways.
Yeah.
They're right. Yeah.
But these are the people that glue themselves to the Mona Lisa
Yep.
at the Louvre, and the
Oh,
people that
that's
pour
right.
the green dye into the canals at Venice. It's the same group that they're trying to make you aware of climate change and
green dye
and that
in
it's
Venice.
bad.
But by using
and
diamonds.
when-
I would have thought that's the Irish Republican
Right,
Army
yeah.
doing that.
You know.
Those are Boston
no.
guys. South
yeah,
guys from Southie. But no, I know what you mean, and it's all
That's not the place
they
to
fail.
do
It's
it.
like
I
it's
don't
like
get it.
you know, you just want to stand there with signs around them saying you failed. You
Yeah.
failed.
you-
we don't
it
care.
didn't work.
We don't care.
care.
Yeah.
Because what happened, and of course, there's thousands of people that watch golf championships that are
course.
there.
Yeah.
They're booing the people
yeah.
that went on.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
we're not applauding what you just did.
Well, no.
No, they
So
were,
your
I
message
heard,
is
I heard,
terrible.
I heard the audio, and they were screaming
Oh, and there were a few other things.
words that
then,
we
yeah.
can't say on the radio.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
but so that's what that happened on Sunday.
Sunday, and we were watching golf too.
Yeah.
Missed that.
Wow. So
See,
okay.
you're like me, third period.
Third
We kind of come and go,
Yeah.
unless it's the
Well,
U.S.
you know,
Open or
the
the
rain
Masters.
delay kind of. I lost
Yeah,
them in the rain
and
delay.
that's what happened to me. Is I was watching, and then they talked about the weather, so I looked at the radar on my phone and I put Cromwell in,
Yeah.
and I looked, it's like, oh, they're about to get buried.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I
Yeah.
turned the channel.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
came back.
Geez.
So it makes it worse now. If you are a golf fan and like to go to these tournaments, now there's be more security, more hoops you will have to jump
That's
through
right.
That's right.
in order to get on to follow your favorite golfer,
Right.
kind of thing. So it's
And it
more,
will
it's more
begin
of a
this.
hassle.
And it will begin this weekend.
This weekend.
in Newport, because
Are they having a
the
championship
senior.
there?
The senior
Oh, the
U.S. Open
Open,
for
the senior
seniors, the
Open.
older
Okay.
guys,
The senior
is in
Open.
Newport,
Newport.
Yeah.
this week.
Okay, it
This
starts
weekend.
there.
Yeah.
And let's, the guys with the wands checking for metal, and let's go through the metal detectors and empty your pockets again.
Yeah,
All that crap you got to go
Well, you know,
through.
they'll probably be looking. They probably did that, and so now they'll be looking at what these canisters. Well, they might have just been plastic or something in a backpack.
Maybe, yeah.
And so,
What are these?
you know, How are we gonna? But it'll. To your point, anyone with a backpack or bag,
Open it up.
it's going to be a lot more. They're going to be a lot more careful going through everything.
Yeah. And it might just filter down to other
And it'll take
public
time.
events.
To your point, it'll take time.
It
You're
slows
going to be
things down.
standing in line an extra half hour.
Oh, sure.
If that,
Yeah.
if not longer. So, it's not good. Oh, so anyway, let's see other things that are going on. The headline is: Man who was acting erratically while nude passes away. I know
Okay.
you just can't be surprised. This happened in Orange County, California. Not wearing anything, acting erratically.
This sounds more sad than weird.
sad,
Well, it is. Passes away after being arrested.
Probably drugs involved. That's
The Anaheim police
Probably
say the
in Anaheim,
26-year-old
yeah.
died in a hospital on Sunday morning,
Yeah.
16 hours after arrest. Police believe the man was under the influence of drugs,
Yeah.
though toxicology test results are still pending.
Yeah.
Police say the man was given Narcan after showing signs of a medical distress on his way to the hospital. His exact cause of death is not clear. So
26 though. That's
Yeah.
young.
It is young.
I have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be drugs.
So they're looking at a
Of
record.
course, it's California, so we call that business as usual.
The AAA projects that it will have a record-breaking travel on the 4th of July, mostly because of where the holiday falls on the 4th. Well, that means you get the 5th off, then it's the weekend. Well, we'll take Wednesday off too.
Yeah.
Try to make it a five. Basically, it becomes a 5-day weekend. Record-breaking number of people are expected to travel. AAA predicts nearly 71 million people will travel 50 miles or more during the holiday travel period. And that the travel period actually is June 29th. That's this Saturday through July 7th. So people may be taking all next week,
All next week
off. That's up 5% from last year. Senior Vice President at AAA says more Americans are taking extended 4th of July trips this summer thanks to the flexibility of remote work. Over 60 million people are expected to travel by car, nearly 3 million more than last year. Airports could see a record-breaking number of travelers as well, with around 5.75 million people predicted to fly. AAA says this is the first year the travel period was extended to include 2 weekends.
Yeah.
So that's why more people.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, of course, last year was this a? This is the leap year, right? So,
Yeah, this is the
last
leap
year
year.
it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this flipped over to
Yeah.
Wednesday. I mean, yeah, when I saw Thursday, I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
oh boy, this is a 4-day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy,
no,
actually, my
it's-
first thought was, oh boy,
I'm
I'm glad I
retired.
don't run a, I'm glad I don't run a company anymore.
Yeah, right, exactly, because of the Friday.
We had to do this
yeah.
for you. I mean, we always just had to work around it.
Yeah.
But
I think
All right.
we're working Friday. Not me, but because I don't do
on
Fridays.
a completely different topic, but it has to deal with AAA. Do you both have AAA?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you used them?
yeah,
Oh, I have.
occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Do you tip the mechanic or the person that comes out to help you fix your car?
I have not in the past. I have not used. Of course, we live in tip world now, so
Yeah.
I have
I
not done it
know.
lately.
Yeah, when
so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
Because I just ran across someone who does.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you supposed to? I already pay them
Yeah.
a monthly fee.
Well, you pay their boss. You pay their
Yeah.
boss, and because you're right. If it's say a 26-year-old comes out to fix your tire,
They just change
the money is going to AAA and then
Well, yeah.
going to the company, whatever. Sandy's Towing, I
Right.
think, is a
And
lot.
then
Of,
it
you
comes
know,
back to them.
yeah, the money goes back to Sandy's Towing, and then the guy gets paid. I get that. So somebody might say, well, this was a nice kid. I know he's a nice kid. I want to give him $10 extra, $5 extra. I can see that happening. I have not done it personally, but like I said, it's been a while since I've used AAA. But things have changed. You know, the last
Everything
3
has
years
changed.
where everyone wants
Everybody's
tips.
All of a
tipping
sudden.
everybody,
And
yeah.
they're actually making fun of it in TV commercials now.
They are.
Well, Domino's with that, you know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
tip us
Yeah, that
$3 or more. We'll tip
Yeah.
you
We'll give
back.
it tip you back,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so it is to be made fun of. I'm trying to think. There was something recently that I did, and I questioned myself, and I didn't tip the guy. I know, my wife. I had her car detailed because she was, you know, she's got kids all the time, and it looked like heck. I think Mother's Day was coming. I said, you know what? You never want anything for Mother's Day, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have your car detailed. That will make you happy. Happier than I do. And I said, I'm gonna, and so I did. And it was funny because when I picked up the car, this had never happened before. The owner was there, and I'm writing him a check, and the kid who did it was there. He didn't introduce us, but the kid was there, and he's smiling, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he wants a tip.
Yeah.
And I was completely unprepared for it. And honestly, if I'm a good guy, I should go back and say, where's that young man? And, you know, because I didn't know. And I should talk to the boss, because there's a car wash place, and say, are people tipping now? And I bet they are. Give them an extra 10. Give them an extra 20.
I need a list.
I need a list.
I think the list is now tip everybody. You know,
'Cause I've had furniture delivered. I've had appliances delivered.
I tip those.
All of a sudden, you're supposed to tip these people.
That's right. Right.
But we've
But
always.
I haven't been told this.
But you know, we've always tipped. Like we had it was right after COVID or during we needed a new refrigerator, and so and there were 2 guys, and we tipped them. Yeah, we've always tipped those guys.
All right.
We've always tipped those guys.
I think I have too.
Yeah.
People bringing in big
Bringing
appliances.
in things like that.
And taking your other. I'm tipping them for taking the other one out. That's
Well,
my real
that's-
happy.
well, that's- they
But
take the
I just
old
had to
one
have a
out, right.
stove put in, and I had to pay $40 just for them to take it.
Yeah.
Now I'm paying you more to take it.
Right. That's right.
But you're paying the company.
I paid the company $40.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
So this
and
is
so
the-
no, we tipped. Yeah, when there's furniture, we did, especially with that refrigerator.
See, I always, you always look to my parents,
Yeah.
to your parents. They never tipped anybody.
Well, they,
on
they
anything.
didn't tip people before.
Yeah,
like they're
so
tipping
I'm
now.
part of that of
Even
the,
like
of the
from my
non-tipping
father,
generation.
from parents' days to our days.
Well,
Yeah.
this is why Trump is onto something.
What's that?
With his saying no more federal taxes on no
Yeah.
more income tax on tips, and he's going after
All right.
waitresses, waiters, things
Yeah.
like that. But there's so much more than that, and I'm not sure it's a good idea. By the way, first of all, I think that he probably knows that we're only getting half the tips anyway, because guys like that who are getting appliances, you give them $20, they're not declaring that.
Oh,
income.
absolutely not.
And so,
No.
so they're not collecting it anyway. But
Yeah.
you know, restaurants and stuff, that is all part of the
Right.
deal now. And so, but you know, telling people they're not going to have to pay their taxes. Now, what Trump will do if this ever passes is open a huge can of worms where regular employees, someone's a reporter making $50,000, and they'll be like, "Hey, boss, how about you just pay me 40, but you tip me 10?"
Yeah.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
know, for a good story this week, and but it comes out to 10,000. I'm making the same thing, but that 10,000 is going to be tax free. And these are the things that politicians never think of when
Oh,
they're making the
yeah.
promises,
Right,
or they think of them, but they're like, "That's going to be the next
Affects
guy's
your tax
problem."
bracket. Yeah.
And you know, I can see sneaky people, and the boss is like, "You know what? That doesn't sound so bad, because I'll tell you why. I don't have to pay Social Security tax, which is almost 9%
Yeah.
on that.
That's it, yeah.
I only have to pay on that.
So it'd be
Now,
less.
You know you're going to get less of a Social Security check someday, and the 24-year-old says, "What do I
So
care?
what do I care?
Right.
It's
Right.
40 years
Right.
from now.
Yeah. And so, again, there's more to it than what
All
Trump
right.
wants there to be. But there's millions of voters who are tipped,
Yeah.
people.
They depend on
And
tips.
they
you
might
gotta-
be like, I
Yeah.
think I can.
All right,
get
we run out of time. We're a little bit over, and but one more thing, and I saw it on Facebook yesterday. This is not going to make some people happy, especially my daughter. It said, "New rule: if I have to stand to order my food, no tipping." So McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts,
Right.
sorry, Beef Barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I got to stand and you're just handing it to me,
Yeah, if
no,
nobody's bringing
no
anything
tip.
Nobody's. Yeah.
Right.
It's not
Right,
like
and
wait chef.
I
No.
do that. I mean, I go to Starbucks sometimes, and they turn the thing around,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like, how much do you want to tip? I'm getting a $3 cup of coffee.
Zero.
Yeah.
$1, $2, $5.
Where's
Other.
zero?
Other.
I always hit other, and I go in and I'll tap in 50 cents, and throw me in jail if you want. But it's like you have to go an extra step to be able to give 50 cents, which is the proper tip on a cup of coffee.
all right.
That's enough.
Yeah.
So
All right. Anyway, well, all right. Thanks for listening, everyone, to the Coffee and program. Linda Tebow, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure as always.
Tom, it's been a pleasure having you here the last couple of weeks.
thank you.
Stop in
it's
anytime.
been my pleasure. Okay.
If you can,
Sounds
and bring
good.
the grandkids. All right, this is Joe Callahan.
You don't want that.
That would be
All right,
fun.
bring your wife. All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. And stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember is coming your way at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. The Breakers'